Imagine your own fur acting like a lightning rod.
Pikachu?
Meet Pikachu's day. Sure, Pikachu's cute, famous, and can shoot lightning from its cheeks, but living that life isn't all smiles and high fives. Every day brings a new set of problems, from turning a simple rain shower into a survival challenge to dealing with the constant threat of zapping your friends by accident. You'll soon see why even a shower can feel like a death sentence. If you've ever wondered what it's really like to be the world's most famous electric mouse, stick around. Things get a lot messier than you'd think. The weather isn't your friend. Let's talk about what happens when the weather decides to turn against you, because for Pikachu, the forecast is rarely in its favor. Imagine sitting under a tree just trying to enjoy a gentle drizzle. For Pikachu, though, every raindrop is like a tiny shock amplifier, waiting to turn a peaceful moment into a high-voltage disaster. Being an electric-type Pokemon in wet weather is like walking around in wool socks with a lightning rod strapped to your back. All that electricity you generate isn't just a cool trick. It becomes a hazard the second the sky opens up. If Pikachu gets caught in a downpour, things get risky fast. Rainwater is a great conductor, which means even a small accidental spark can travel farther than intended. One startled jump, and Pikachu could end up zapping not just itself, but anything nearby: plants, rocks, or any unlucky critter trying to mind its own business. And let's not pretend Pikachu is always in perfect control. Its powers are tied to its emotions, so a loud thunderclap or sudden flash of lightning could trigger an involuntary jolt. The result? Scorched patches of grass, steaming puddles, and a whole lot of wildlife that suddenly wants nothing to do with you. Thunderstorms don't make Pikachu feel powerful. They just crank up the stress and make every hair on its body stand on end. But rain isn't the only thing making life difficult. Static electricity is Pikachu's constant companion, and it's not doing any favors for grooming. With all that static built up in its fur, Pikachu turns into a walking magnet for anything light enough to stick. Picture running through the grass and coming out with a couple of leaves and bits of dirt clinging to your fur. Staying clean isn't just a matter of a quick shake. It's a full-time job. Pikachu's fur would constantly be full of debris, and grooming would be a never-ending struggle. Forget about that squeaky clean look from the anime. Real life would mean hours spent picking out whatever the forest decided to throw at you. Even indoors, Pikachu can't catch a break. One rub against the carpet and suddenly everything nearby smells faintly of burnt ozone. That static charge doesn't just attract dirt, it also means you're always one step away from giving yourself or someone else a nasty shock.
It's not just inconvenient, it's exhausting. And if Pikachu ever gets startled or excited, that static can build up even more, leading to accidental zaps that nobody asked for. With all these daily hassles, you'd think Pikachu could at least blend into its environment and avoid drawing attention. But even its attempts to interact with the world can have unintended consequences. A stray spark could scorch foliage if Pikachu zaps recklessly. And that's not exactly winning points with the local plant life. Other animals might steer clear, not wanting to risk a surprise jolt just for getting too close. It's a tough balance, trying to stay safe and clean while also not becoming the forest's least popular resident. And while the anime makes it look like Pikachu is always ready for action, the reality is that every day is a careful dance with the weather and its own electrical quirks. The simple act of existing means constantly managing hazards that most creatures never have to worry about. But as tough as the weather gets, there's another challenge Pikachu faces every single day, one that has nothing to do with storms or static. Fame comes at a price. Spotlights look fun until you're stuck in one. For Pikachu, fame isn't a bonus. It's the job description. From the very start, Pikachu was chosen as the flagship mascot of the world's highest-grossing media franchise. That means it's not just a Pokemon. It's the face you see on lunchboxes, t-shirts, and even airplanes. Every twitch of its ears and every Pika Pika is on display for millions, and the world expects nothing less than perfection. There's no room for a bad mood or a lazy afternoon. The pressure to be endlessly cute, clever, and heroic is always there, whether Pikachu likes it or not. And unlike most Pokemon, Pikachu doesn't get a break from the crowd. In the anime, and especially in Pokemon Yellow, Pikachu famously refuses to stay in its Pokeball. That means no cozy naps away from prying eyes. Instead, it's right there on Ash's shoulder, through rain, mud, and whatever else the day throws at them. While other Pokemon get their own private space to recharge, Pikachu is always in the open, always on. There's no hiding from fans, from expectations, or from the next big moment. Even when the cameras stop rolling, Pikachu can't just slip away. Privacy is a luxury it never gets. The expectations don't stop at just looking cute. Pikachu is expected to win. Every battle isn't just about helping Ash, it's about keeping up the reputation of an entire franchise. Losing isn't an option. If Pikachu faints in a big match, it's not just a bad day. It's a shock to fans everywhere. The demand for constant victory means Pikachu must always be at its best, even when it's tired or outmatched. That's a lot for a little Pokemon to carry, and there are no timeouts for stage fright or second guessing. And then there's the problem of being everywhere, all the time. Pikachu's fame is so massive that the world expects it to be cheerful and strong, but that image hides a lot of stress. Living as a symbol means Pikachu's real personality and needs get buried under the weight of what everyone else wants to see. Fame looks fun from the outside, but inside it's a cage made of expectations. And as if that weren't enough, there's another reality check waiting for Pikachu, one that fans don't always see coming. On the surface, Pikachu looks like the ultimate hero, but the truth behind its actual abilities? Well, that's when things start to look a lot less legendary. Weak stats, strong opinions. Let's get real about Pikachu's actual power. Gen 1 Pikachu's base stats cluster around speed, leaving its attack and defense meh. Players soon learned it ran fast but fizzled out against sturdier foes. Pikachu's stat sheet often reads like a sprinter's, not a bruiser's. If you were hoping for a powerhouse that could tank hits and dish out heavy damage, Pikachu's not your pick. It zips around the battlefield, but one solid blow from a tougher Pokemon, and it's lights out. That's a far cry from the heroic never-say-die Pikachu you see in the anime. Game designers put most of Pikachu's points into speed, which sounds cool until you realize it means sacrificing the muscle needed for real fights. Its attack doesn't impress, and its defense is so low you'd think it was made of tissue paper. You might pull off a flashy Thunderbolt, but if your opponent isn't knocked out immediately, Pikachu's probably the one going down next. The reality is, Pikachu spends most battles dodging instead of dealing damage, and it rarely survives more than a hit or two from the heavyweights. And then there's the evolution problem. In the anime, Pikachu just won't touch that Thunderstone no matter how tough the battle gets. Evolving into Raichu would make Pikachu faster, stronger, and way more durable, pretty much a trainer's dream. But Pikachu's stubbornness keeps it cute and marketable while leaving Ash with a glass cannon. It's a great story about staying true to yourself, but it means Pikachu keeps showing up to a heavyweight fight with lightweight stats. Fans watching the show see a tiny mouse stand up to giants, but anyone who's played the games knows that's not how things play out in real life. Then we get the infamous plot armor moments that only widen the gap between Pikachu's legend and its reality. The clearest case? That first season battle against Brock's Onix, where sprinkler logic let Pikachu's Thunderbolt hit a ground type immune to electricity. Pure anime favoritism. The show bends every rule to make Pikachu look unstoppable, but in the games, that same matchup is a quick trip to the Pokemon Center. If you ever tried to copy Ash's battle moves, you probably found out the hard way that Pikachu's electricity bounces right off any ground type, no matter how dramatic you get. This disconnect between Pikachu's reputation and its real-life performance is more than just a letdown for fans. It's almost a running joke. People expect big things from the franchise mascot, but the numbers don't lie. Unless you invest in endless training or special items, Pikachu usually can't keep up with the heavy hitters. It's all flash, little substance, and a lot of wishful thinking. So while Pikachu's image is all about heroics and unbeatable spirit, the reality is a lot less glamorous. Weak stats, stubborn refusal to evolve, and a reputation built on TV magic make Pikachu's day-to-day life way tougher than anyone expects. And that gap between what everyone sees and what Pikachu actually deals with, it's enough to make you rethink what living the dream really means. Living as Pikachu means trading naps and quiet moments for non-stop battles, endless attention, and the stress of being everyone's favorite. The cute face hides a routine packed with rain hazards, constant pressure, and the job of staying cheerful no matter how tired you get.
Sure, Pikachu's image is everywhere, but that spotlight comes at a cost most of us wouldn't want to pay. And trust me, Pikachu's not the only one with hidden struggles. There are plenty of other Pokemon just trying to make it through the day. So would you trade all that fame and power for a few peaceful berries and naps? If you've ever dreamed of life without a lightning rod title, hit like and let us know in the comments.